I was watching a bloke on TV last week and it really struck a chord with me. I've spoken to him often on the program. He's the Commissioner for Children and Young People, Bernie Geary. He was launching a report on behalf of his commission, and he shed a tear in front of all the cameras and the media gorillas and everything else. He shed a tear. Bernie Geary, good morning.
G'day, Neil. How are you?
Why?
I guess I'm sick of 10.5 years. I'm just a bit sick of sitting and watching and not seeing enough action.
Were you embarrassed by shedding a tear?
No.
Good on you. I should hope not. So it's a tear of frustration, is it, or sadness?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
A tear of frustration. I'm an old youth worker, as you know, so when you're in the fray, you wear stuff and you do stuff as a consequence of relationships. But I'm reading about these children and feeling really frustrated that I can't do anything about them. I've done a report that relates to 166 children being sexually abused who are in care. So they've come to us. They've come to the state. They are in the care of the state. And in 12 months, 166 children have been abused. And I think if these children were patients in the Royal Children's Hospital, what would the public outcry be? What would the government response be? And so it makes me realise that they are children of lesser worth.
Because they're in state care?
Absolutely, because they are not special in the eye. And one child said that to me, and that's what often brings me to tears, but I'm resolved that it won't this morning. But one child said that to me some time ago, that she said, "Listen, Bernie, I know I'm not special in the eyes of anybody." I mean, that's
How old was she?
14.
Oh, God. So old enough to understand the concept of it.
Absolutely, yeah. Since I wrote this report, and the department and the government does what it considers to be its very best to nurture these children, it's getting worse.
What do you mean?
Well, the figures over the last 2 weeks, the 2 weeks before this report was tabled in Parliament, we did a snap look and found that 20 children had been abused in 2 weeks in residential care in Victoria. In 2 weeks.
And that's only a month ago or something?
Yes.
By whom?
By each other in some cases, and by dreadful people out in the community. Not by their carers. That's one of the big shifts in the way abuse has changed over the years. But these children and young people, because they are so vulnerable, they are so obvious to the perpetrators, and of course they're targeted.
If a person in a loving family with children who they care about and care for hears that one of their children has been abused because they go out into the real world, it might be at school, it might be at church, it might be just the local ground, footy ground. There is anger from that parent, there is demand for justice, there is all this reaction. I can only imagine myself, as you would as a father, how you would react. Who's reacting for these kids?
I think we've become hardened to it, and that's what I find most frustrating.